Hi everyone, I'm Manouk Akopyan and I am joined by Tszyu, who has a much anticipated fight coming up March 30 against Sebastian Fundora. Tim, I know it's not the original plan that was in store, obviously. Keith Thurman was the opponent, but Sebastian Fundora, you're taking him on 12 days notice. A lot has been going through, you've been going through a lot, obviously, the last few days. What has this entire ordeal and experience been like for you?
Oh, it's been in all honesty, it's just been a little bit of a shift. Nothing's rattled me. It's just brought out this inner beast in me, which I'm ready to unleash on this weekend.
Hmm. A lot of Keith Thurman is obviously the bigger name, former unified 147-pound champion. He was going to be making his debut, 154-pound debut in this fight, but odds makers actually see Sebastian Fundora as the tougher fight for you. You were a 900 favorite to beat Keith Thurman, but now you're minus 525. What does that kind of say as far as the test that you're willing to take as well too on short notice?
Right, I don't understand the betting because we're in Australia, it's a bit different with the numbers.
Gotcha.
Um, but
You're considerably your odds of beating Sebastian Fundora are considerably less favored
right,
as opposed to Keith Thurman.
right. Yeah, well, probably maybe with the statistics, when you see a guy that tall, always people are gonna say, how do you win against someone like that? He's got such a natural advantage over everyone in the division. It's quite simple, so that all makes sense. But when we get in there, it's completely different.
Hmm. How hard is it also to adjust for a southpaw who is 6'6"? I mean, it is the complete 180 of what you were preparing for. What has the last week of preparation also looked like for you as you tied everything up?
Yeah, I got some tall southpaws to come and join one last week of camp. So I got three spars in, three good spars, and it's just a little bit of a brain reshuffle about technique, game plans, and stuff like that. Uh, but that's it. If you want to be champion and reach greatness, this is what you got to do.
Hmm. You've called this stateside fight USA. You're envisioning fights against the likes of Canelo, Crawford, Spence, Charlo. I mean that is ultimately kind of your master plan as you continue this big breakout of your career. I saw a report that talks have already intensified with Terence Crawford. Can you share some more details as to what that looks like?
And I wouldn't know. I'm solely focused right now on my next task. And I talk about future fights after that.
Hmm. With Fundora, what do you think is the biggest things he brings to the table that is the challenge for you outside of his height?
Um, his arms, his long arms, uh, his awkwardness. He's able to hear from a lot of directions. His uppercuts, his constant punching. So all of that is a task.
Hmm. The fights in Las Vegas, is your father going to be ringside there to support you?
Yeah, yeah. My dad's coming.
Awesome. What is that experience going to be like? Obviously, he's had so many breakthrough fights in Las Vegas as well too, where he really made a name with American fans. What is that experience going to be like for you?
Yeah, it's a pleasure to have dad going to be sitting alongside, someone that's been there, done that. So it'd be a good feeling, knowing that he's there.
Hmm. What kind of preparation does your father also help you with? I know he's not involved in camp on a day-to-day basis, but what is the conversations like between father and son at this stage of your career where you really are taking it on your own?
No, it's not much, man. Not much. We just talk about life in general, We don't talk about boxing.
So the days of him giving pointers are over at this point. You're a one-man show.
At this point, we don't talk about boxing now. Honestly, we just it's just a father and son relationship, you know.
What with this fight, it's obviously on Amazon Prime Video pay-per-view. You have a lot more obligations, whether it's media or uh, promoting, whatever the case may be. But it's also your second fight in the United States. What's been the biggest learning experience for you throughout this fight camp as well?
Nothing, in all honesty. I've done 12 pay-per-views back home, you know, and 12 pay-per-views means a lot of media, a lot of different things that you have to satisfy with, you know. So I'm used to this. It's nothing out of the ordinary.
Right, and obviously Australia is home. Big fights do take place there, but are you considering yourself a United States first fighter moving forward, or do you always want to take that big fight back home to Australia as well?
Um, I want to stay consistent with my career, you know. If it means to be able to fight back and forth, and so of course I'll do that, you know. If it means not fighting just because I'm fighting just out of America and not being able to get certain fights, then you know that's not me. So um, I'm not saying no to anything, but my next few years is going to be, of course, here in America, conquering this land.
hmm I heard Keith Thurman plans on being around at Fight Week. I'm pretty sure you're disappointed that he didn't hold up to his end of the stick with this agreement of the fight. Do you plan on having any words with him, or you're only focused on Fundora at this point?
Nah, but Thurman's in the past. He's long gone for me now. I've got one task ahead. We move on, you know. Simple. We move on.
Is that a fight you would consider moving forward, or it's completely in
Nah,
the past?
nah, it's in the past now. It's done.
hmm With Fundora, how do you see the fight unfolding? It's obviously such a short turnaround, but what is the visions you've had so far for this fight?
Um, adapt, and conquer, and find the finishing shot.
hmm And for the fighters and for the fans who will be tuning in on March 30, what is the promise you could make to them as far as what they can expect from you?
Just don't blink. Don't blink at all.